Warning, the following video contains spoilers for the ending of Bayonetta 3, in case you couldn't tell by the title, so click away now if you don't want the end spoiled for you. Bayonetta 3's ending is a wild ride across the multiverse, featuring romance, cameos, and a new protagonist for Bayonetta 4? What the heck is going on here? Well, we're going to explain everything as best as we can. But before we get to explaining the ending, there are a couple of things you should know first. Why is Luca a werewolf? Okay, he's not exactly that, but in Bayonetta 3, he takes a new beast-like form called Strider, which comes from him being corrupted by a force called Dark Atom that's essentially a combination of all his disembodied counterparts from other universes. At first, he couldn't control this form, but a blessing from his counterpart Lucaon allowed him to do so. Next, there's Viola, who turns out to be the daughter of Bayonetta and Luca from another universe. It's not explicitly stated until the very end, but it's still really easy to pick up on before then, especially when she almost calls Bayonetta Mummy. Yeah, you really wouldn't be able to tell that if you didn't have the subtitles on. But anyway, there's the homunculi, the man-made bioweapons out to destroy all universes. They're led by this being called a Singularity, who, naturally, is the final boss of the game. This brings us to the ending. Bayonetta takes on Singularity in her own universe, which leads to a few different battles in Singularity's multiple forms. One of these forms, Singularity Balance, uses chaotic energy from the Bayonettas he killed throughout the multiverse. Bayonetta damages him enough that it releases this energy, thus reviving these counterparts, including Jean, whom he killed earlier, and they pummel him to bits. This doesn't end the fight, however, as he then takes on his true form, Singularity Definition, giving him ultimate control over reality. But just as he's about to kill Bayonetta, she's rescued by Bayonetta, or rather, her counterpart from the first game. Oh, that reminds me. This version of Bayonetta confirms the theory that the Bayonetta in 3 is indeed young Cereza from the first game. This is made clear by the counterpart asking,
"You didn't cry while I was gone, did you?"
This is a nod to the fact that she didn't like it when young Cereza cried. There's also this little gesture she does to her head that she also did in the first game. It's really cool stuff. Anyway, back to what happened. Then, of course, the counterpart from Bayonetta 2 joins the fun, Spider-Man No Way Home style. This confuses Singularity, as he destroyed them and their worlds long ago, causing him to suspect that universes he destroyed are now coming back. The three Bayonettas combine into an ultimate form, one that weakens a Singularity for Viola to deal a finishing blow. Or so she thinks, as the Singularity entraps her in rubble. Luckily, Luca swings in to save the day, or provide a brief distraction with his buffoonery. Stop. He then takes on his Strider form to help the weakened Bayonetta, and in one final push, she summons Gamora to defeat Singularity for good, but at a drastic cost. Her medallion and left eye of the world gemstone breaks, no longer giving her control of Gamora. Suddenly, a portal opens in the sky, causing Viola to get sucked in, and as Luca saves her, Bayonetta's soul is knocked out of her body by Gamora. Luca then kills the demon and makes his way to Bayonetta's soul as she gets dragged to hell. He holds her in his arms as he reassures her that Viola is safe and that they always seem to find each other whenever she needs them. Claiming fate will never tear them apart, they share a passionate kiss as they both enter the portal to hell, leaving their daughter behind. But it doesn't end there. Yes, you better believe there's a post-credits scene, because after the credits roll, Viola encounters the dark version of Bayonetta, and she engages it in a battle along with the giant squid-like creature under its control. As she's about to kill the darkness with her ultimate power, it's then revealed that this was the last lesson from her mother, and that a new name for her would be given to represent her growth. Cutting back to a Manhattan that hasn't been destroyed, Viola enters Rodin's bar, the Gates of Hell, asking him for any jobs, and then he refers to her by her family name,
Bayonetta.
Whoa, 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 whoa! So much just happened here. What does it all mean? Judging by the last scene, it seems as if Viola is actually going to be the protagonist of future Bayonetta games moving forward. But you can't have Bayonetta without Bayonetta, right? Well, like Rodin said, Bayonetta is the family name, and we've since learned that the person we know as Bayonetta actually goes by another name, Cereza. Viola earned the name Bayonetta after she passed her final lesson and became a true Umbra witch. What's more is that she closed the game by saying,
Let's dance, baby!
Not unlike what Bayonetta, or Cereza, said at the end of the last two games.
Let's dance, boys!
This must mean the plan is to have Viola either be the protagonist of Bayonetta 4, or at the very least play a key part. But hold up. This is the multiverse we're talking about here. So just because Bayonetta and Luca died in one universe doesn't mean they died in all of them. And Rodin even mentions to Viola that her pops would get mad if he found out she was skipping school, which means either he's referring to an adoptive parent or Luca is alive in this universe. So maybe that means Bayonetta, or rather Cereza, is alive here too? For now, this all remains a mystery. But the future of the Bayonetta franchise will likely be determined by the fan response to this ending. Will they be down to play a Bayonetta game that stars a different protagonist than the first three? Surely Platinum Games is planning on having Viola be the star of at least one game, but those plans may change if fans respond negatively to this ending. Viola is a very different character from Cereza, as she's an Umbran witch in training who spends most of Bayonetta 3 unsure of herself, as reflected in her tone of voice and situations she finds herself in.
What? Oh, shit! Ah! Hot!
And though she experiences growth by the end, she's still quite the klutz.
What?
Needless to say, Viola as the protagonist instead of Cereza would be quite the controversial change for Bayonetta 4, but it could work if Cereza is included as a side character or even another playable one. That, or there could be a time skip between Bayonettas 3 and 4 that introduces us to a more experienced and confident Viola. Platinum Games has never been afraid to try new things, and having a protagonist change in the Bayonetta series would certainly be one of their riskier ones. We'll just have to wait and see how the franchise moves forward, and hopefully it takes less than 8 years this time. But now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Viola would be a good protagonist for a theoretical Bayonetta 4? Let us know in the comments below, and check out the videos on the right for more topics you might be interested in. Until next time, bye.